Moses and the burning bush. The fire did not consume the tree. It waited. In the wilderness of Midian, far from palaces, far from power, far from the life Moses thought he would live, something impossible burned in plain sight. A bush stood engulfed in flame, yet it did not crack, blacken, or turn to ash. The fire was alive, but restrained. And in that moment, history paused, because God was about to speak to a man who believed his story was already over. Before we go any further, like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that God still calls people in hidden places, and subscribe to the Bible Project for more cinematic Bible stories brought to life. What Moses encountered that day was not a miracle meant to impress. It was a revelation meant to transform. And once you understand what really happened at the burning bush, you will never see calling, purpose, or holy ground the same way again. Moses did not begin his life in obscurity. He began it in danger. Born under a death sentence, hidden in a basket, drawn from the Nile, and raised in Pharaoh's household, Moses grew up with power within reach. He was educated, privileged, positioned. He saw injustice and believed rightly that God would use him to deliver his people. But he acted too soon. One impulsive decision, one act of violence, and the dream collapsed. Moses fled Egypt as a fugitive. The palace gave way to pasture. The prince became a shepherd. 40 years passed, not days, not months, decades. Moses married. He worked. He learned the rhythms of the desert. He watched sheep more than people. Whatever fire once burned in him dimmed into routine. He no longer expected God to use him. He was alive but finished. Or so he thought. Because God often speaks when we believe nothing more is coming. One ordinary day, Moses led his flock toward the far side of the wilderness, to Horeb, the mountain of God. He had walked this land countless times. Nothing about the terrain suggested destiny, and then he saw it, fire, a bush ablaze, not spreading, not dying, burning. Without being consumed, Moses stopped. Curiosity pulled him closer. Not fear, not reverence yet, just wonder. And as he turned aside to see this great sight, the voice came, "Moses, Moses." God did not shout, he called his name, twice. Because when God speaks, it is personal. Moses answered instinctively, "Here I am." He did not know who was speaking. He only knew the voice, knew him. Then the command came, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Nothing about the desert had changed. The sand was the same. The bush was ordinary. What made the ground holy was presence. God revealed himself not in a temple, not in Egypt, not in power, but in fire that did not destroy. And Moses learned something crucial before his calling was ever explained. God is holy, but he draws near. Then God spoke again. "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Moses hid his face. Fear arrived late but fully, because this was not a vision. This was not imagination. This was the living God. God told Moses he had seen the suffering of his people in Egypt. He had heard their cries. He had come down to deliver them. And then came the sentence Moses never expected. "So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh, to bring my people out of Egypt." The fire did not move, but Moses did, internally. Everything he buried rose to the surface. The past, the failure, the fear. Moses did not argue that Egypt didn't need saving. He argued that he was no longer capable. "Who am I?" Moses asked. "That I should go." God did not reassure Moses with compliments. He gave him a promise. I will be with you. Purpose is never anchored in who you are. It is anchored in who God is. Still, Moses hesitated. What if they ask your name? He said. What should I tell them? And God revealed something no human had ever heard before. I am who I am. Not I was, not I will be. I am. God declared himself as eternal, self-existent, unchanging. He did not explain his power, he revealed his nature. And Moses realized the fire before him was not burning fuel. It was revealing identity. Yet Moses resisted. What if they don't believe me? What if they won't listen? What if I fail again? God responded not with anger, but with signs. A staff turning into a serpent, a hand becoming diseased and restored, power given but not relied upon. Still Moses said the words that revealed the deepest fear of all. Please, Lord, send someone else. Silence. Then God answered, not by withdrawing the call, but by widening the provision. Aaron would speak. Moses would lead. God would remain sovereign, because calling is not canceled by fear. It is carried through it. The burning bush did not send Moses back to Egypt immediately. It redefined him first. He was no longer a shepherd running from his past. He was a man sent by God. The fire that did not consume taught Moses what kind of God he served, a God whose holiness does not destroy, whose presence does not exhaust, whose calling does not depend on human perfection. Moses left the mountain changed, not confident, not fearless, but obedient, and that was enough. So what does this story mean for us? It means God often calls people when they feel most forgotten. It means holy ground can exist in ordinary places. It means failure does not disqualify, calling avoidance does. It means God is not looking for ability, but availability. The burning bush reminds us that God still interrupts routine, still speaks names, still sends the unlikely, still reveals himself, not in consuming fire, but in sustaining presence. And the same God who spoke from that bush still speaks today. If this story awakened your faith, reminded you of God's nearness, or challenged you to stop running from your calling, stay with us. Subscribe to The Bible Project for more cinematic journeys into Scripture, because the Bible is not just ancient history, it is the story of a God who still calls people by name.